So today's talkers is on Instagram, and it's on how the changes to the algorithm affect us as creatives. Yeah, as artists, as business owners, entrepreneurs, as go-getters, as people who create content. That is the question. So we will kick it off with, have you even been affected?
Yeah, numerous times.
You see the deep breath?
Numerous times.
That's a
yeah. I think it's difficult because obviously these platforms, to us as users, it can often seem like there are these big definitive moments where it's like something changed, and it's like it's tough because things are constantly changing. Like this is a company that is active every day. The developers are active every day, and the algorithms get changed every day. But then there are those particular changes that like overnight change the whole platform, and it's never the same again.
Yeah. Crazy.
Which is mad. And yeah, so in terms of the drop in engagement, how long would you say this has been going on for now? Because I feel like it's been
over a year.
But yeah, within the last year, there's been a lot of changes that have come round to it. But I mean, so we might as well dive right into this one. This is the type of thing I like to look up all the time. So I feel like we'll have a lot of gems in it.
Yeah.
That is able to go over. But for me, I understand the changes. I understand why they've done the changes.
Okay.
And because of that, it makes me, not that I'm happy about it, but it's one of those moments where it's like, if you refuse to change, then it's going to be peak.
It's going to affect you.
It's going to be peak.
Yeah,
but if you accept that, you know, once changes are made, it's not the same platform now. Your strategy has to adapt to the platform. The platform's not going to adapt to you and your strategy. And I think once I started to accept that and see, it allowed me to see the benefits in it.
Sick.
So yeah, what do you think before we start delving deep into how has it affected you and your stuff?
It definitely has affected Exkluse media. Quite naturally, the reach had reduced, but I still I can't even say that. Yeah, the reach had reduced, which quite naturally reduces your engagement naturally, and it was an interesting thing because it made us think like, what do we do? Yeah, sure. It made us think like, what do we do? And the positive of having your reach reduced by Instagram is that it encourages you to explore new ways of thinking and enter new paradigms in which you can make content that is platform focused. Do you get? So it has affected us in short. Hello, Cools, big man Fespri, you know.
I think it would help a lot of people. I don't know what you've looked at already or whatnot, but it would help a lot of people, I think, to understand their aims in making the changes.
Yeah.
And I think when you start to understand why they're making the changes that they are, you can start to see the strategies that are going to work going forwards and why the old strategies have stopped working.
So let's talk about some of the changes that we've noticed about what Instagram are doing to the algorithm.
But not even just that we've noticed, like the reasoning, because there are official reasonings for the different stuff.
Cool.
And I think that's where it really stems from. And so like the first thing I would say is, I don't know how long ago, maybe a year ago, a bit more, Facebook as a whole platform said that their big focus was to change everything to genuine interactions, right? So they wanted to, because they realized that Facebook and Instagram are like where people are spending all their time. And so they wanted to change it to, interactions with people that you know. And so the whole platform has made changes to make it personal. And for anything organic, so if you haven't paid for it to be an advert where you're accepting that it's going to new people, then they're changing everything to be that they only want you to see the people they know, that care about and have relationships with. And so I think when I heard that, it then made complete sense as to why they've done what they've done. Because it's like, I find that I now show up more to the people that I have genuine and frequent interactions with on Instagram. So if I'm in the DMs with them, if they're watching my lives, if they're on my story, all of that stuff makes me show up more. And so like there's some confirmed stuff and some unconfirmed stuff. So for example, the stories, a lot of who you see is based on whose stories you watch and based on whether they reciprocate. So it's not just about who I watch, but then it's like, okay, if I watch them and when I put stories up, they watch me, we now show up much earlier in each other's feeds.
Of course.
And so, yeah, I definitely think that puts us on a foot where we're going to have to go down that road. And it's going to be that hard grind now of like, even if you can get followers, even if you can get in front of people, they're not going to keep showing you unless you form genuine bonds.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And that's the harder bit on social media, because there's only so much time that you want to spend on your marketing, you know, because you don't want it to take over your life.
Yeah, 100%.
So
it does make it really difficult, but I think that's what they've done that on purpose.
Of course.
Because if you can only keep up with let's say 20 conversations at a push,
max,
then now you're not trying to get the same big numbers, because it's like, you know,
you've
got to focus on
the 20 people that actually interact with you. And now that then leads me on to a great point, that in the conditioning and in the landscape that we are in with Instagram, it is important to really understand and know who your target audience is. Now, your target audience will simply be measured by who you want to basically buy your product or to listen to you. Yeah, that's your ideal customer. So then thinking about who you want to interact with you on the basis of that person being your ideal customer, you can then go and look for those people in your following who are matching that thing, that persona. And if you make genuine connections with them, they are more likely, if they are on board with what you're doing, because judging that you're running a company that's targeting its stuff to that person, they most likely will interact with your stuff if it is of the level that it should be. So the thinking behind this is that if you do that regularly, when they go to watch your content, if they are emotionally stimulated after watching your content, they are likely to tell somebody that's like-minded to them. So what happens naturally, there's a follow-on effect, right? And I feel like this is the benefit, one of the main benefits that I'm personally finding. It's actually helped me to really double down on who is my main audience, and then really start to specify who should get more of my time. That kind of good, ideal customer, or that kind. And then it gets even more specific. Yeah. And the benefits of that are exponential, because then when you're creating your content, obviously it should be audience based. And then it makes you think backwards from what that kind of person or client or audience wants to see from you. Yeah. Therefore, creating a post that's likely to get more engagement, and therefore, like the algorithm, one of the how the algorithms work, that if your post gets X amount of engagement in a short amount of time when it's first released, it pushes out to more people that are similar to that audience. So then that's the benefit. So this is why I'm actually liking.
And we're even seeing there's been a big reduction in time sensitivity. So when these platforms were a bit earlier, Instagram, even YouTube to an extent, there was an extreme part that went on just timing. So when you put something out, it was all about that first couple hours, and it made such a nuts difference. Like if you could get the engagement quick. Yeah. I remember. Whereas now it's not like that. But again, think of the strategy of the platform. So this is what brings me into my next bit, the interesting bit, the bit that has been making me bubble at home. Is that Instagram has been trying to be the new thing for a while. Remember, this is Facebook. So their only real competitor is Google. And YouTube. That's the only real competitor for the size that they're at. And the one big benefit that YouTube has and Google has over Facebook's platforms is the longevity of the content. So the fact that on YouTube a video can have a lifespan of years, whereas on Instagram, Facebook, it's got a very short-term lifespan. Like content's effectively dead after 2 days. And what I think is that they've specifically taken that pressure off of the timing.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to matter quite as much now on the
doesn't,
timing.
yeah.
Nah. And they're more interested in just finding great pieces of content. So like when you do come up with a great post that gets shared out everywhere, you're gonna keep getting stuff from that. And you're thinking, how the hell are people seeing this? But it is being pushed there.
Yeah.
And that leads into IGTV, right? So IGTV has actually been what Instagram are trying to do for a long time. So they brought it in as their answer to long form content to go up against YouTube directly, right? And you've got a lot of the same stuff in there. So as in like on IGTV, you can put links to external websites that you can't do on a normal feed post. And it's just a lot of stuff that are all the pros of YouTube. They've tried to package it in IGTV. Now the problem is nobody cared. Nobody cared. And recently, what we've seen is from some very smart developers, what they do to keep up to date with the real algorithms is they're able to like reverse engineer the app and see the little additions that are being put in. Because remember, when Instagram put new stuff, they test it on small amounts of people before everybody knows about it. But it means that it is in the app, right? So these developers, they go in and they can figure it out. And basically what we've seen recently is that they are testing a monetization for IGTV. So like the same way you get ads on the rest of Instagram and on YouTube and stuff, they're now going to put that, it looks like, on IGTV. So when you upload your content to IGTV, we're potentially in a situation now where we're looking, maybe you can make money like you can on YouTube. And if that was to happen, the assumption here is that because there's monetization available, you'll start getting, first of all, more people uploading to IGTV, but also high quality content. Because that's why YouTube bangs off so much. It's because people can make money. They turn it into their job, and you get mad creators that would never bother doing that on Insta. And it's looking like they're going to make a push to try and do that on Instagram.
Let's hold Cairo responsible for if they don't, because I certainly was really excited when I was listening to what he was saying. If I don't get a check,
Are you gonna hold me responsible?
if I don't get a check for all these quality videos that we're giving to you, then I'm not going to be happy about that, to be fair.
But obviously they've got to show ads on it. And so that's the part that we've got to get through. We need to see how effective are the ads. Because basically it all comes down to advertisers. And so once they roll it out, we'll have to see how effective is it. Does it actually make money? Like YouTube makes money. Are they going to pass the monetization benefits onto the end users? We don't know this yet. That's all pure speculation.
I feel like it's Instagram. They ain't going to do that. Yeah, selfish.
But just put the ads in it.
Facebook ain't done that, so why would Instagram do it?
The only reason I think that we might be in with a chance is because of the fact that IGTV needs to go up against YouTube. And the difference with the social networks, Instagram is a social network. It isn't it's not a platform to just consume content. It's networking. The whole point is interaction. Whereas the IGTV side of things, if it's trying to take on YouTube, it isn't about that.
Yeah,
it's
about
the community part is secondary. Yeah, it's about going and almost like
getting
a TV channel, being able to watch though.
Getting the best creators, yeah.
So yeah, because everything seems to be moving that way, it just all makes sense. So that like the limited reach, for example, and the big stress on everything being personal and better quality things is also to combat bots. Because bots have been prevalent on Instagram for
time.
More than everywhere else, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because a lot of other channels, and I think it's because you can earn the money. Because you could, like YouTube, because you can earn money from it, they've had to be on bots from early. Because otherwise they could be getting robbed.
Yeah.
And that's why I think we've seen Instagram do so many things in the past, since IGTV come out, to take away bots. Because they can't get this monetization platform running if the platform is full of bots and fake likes and fake all of this stuff. And so that's why I think we're seeing that all the programs have come down. Because like me, I can't even use programs that were just legit, like for scheduling and doing all kind of analytics. I can't use a lot of them.
Yeah.
And the only reason I can see for them being that harsh randomly, when it's clearly how their system works, is because of this IGTV stuff. Of course. And so, going forwards, I just think you just have to adapt the strategy. Like, the platform still works. If you meet their rules, you definitely get seen by the people you're having the interactions with.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if you noticed, but I, like, even
I always see your stuff, like...
even if for a few days I start looking at someone's stuff on I'm keeping up with their story or whatever, or people who are active in my DMs, who we're chatting back and forth, they get on the top of my notifications. And considering I'm following over 2,000 people, for me to be able to see the same people means they're putting me in front of them for some reason. So yeah, I definitely think just going forwards, we just got to manipulate the situation the best we can.
Agreed.
And now it's about finding a way of how can we have genuine interactions, but with more people. Because obviously we're using it for business.
Exactly.
We need to be able to scale it.
Exactly.
You need to be able to scale it. But yeah, what about you? I mean, what's your? Have you got sort of a plan going forwards?
What for the Instagram thing?
Yeah, like how would you approach? How are you gonna approach it differently this year than perhaps you were 2 years ago?
So some of the changes that I'm making in terms of my strategy on Instagram is that when you go and look through the Exkluse Media Instagram, you'll see before we showed a lot of the content that we shot. Now, that was good back then because the content was being shown in a chronological order thereabouts. So if the quality was if the content was quality, then most people would, if they resonated with it, would watch it. So it worked right. Now the changes specifically in the fact that your content is shown to a less of an audience, and the fact that it then means that there's less engagement has then led us to, like I said earlier on, talking about your ideal target audience. It's then led to specifically focused content that is for Instagram and social media platforms. So it goes all the way down to things like the captions. So whereas the captions before would be quite commercial and just kind of explanatory in terms of this is what the video is, now we are looking at ways to engage our audience on a level that they understand. You understand? So it's it's challenged us and has really made us think about what we want to do with this post and what kind of impact do we want to have with this post, in contrast to before where it was like, watch this post, it's quality.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to sum up the effect that it's had. Is like, now you can't get away with not doing the best practices.
Exactly.
Like, now you have to be very intentional about each part because you have to be able to stand above the rest in order to get any form of chance at the organic reach now.
Exactly.
And I think there's so many people as well, which is a factor that is sometimes hard to comprehend. Like, there's actually so many people on the platform.
Yeah, there are.
And so many of us have been on it for so long that we follow so many people.
Yep.
And it's like, and so, yeah, I understand it. It's like, one of the big pros that I feel that is evident is, like we said, like, the people who you're genuinely interacting with, they are showing up. You are able to see their stuff. And I think that's something that I've noticed particularly is like, cool, maybe I don't see as many people, but the 50 or so people that manage to keep booming on my stuff, like, I see what they put up.
Yeah, and like I said, even going back to the point I was making earlier, is if you concentrate, like this is a tip for anyone really, if you concentrate on that one person, the main person that interacts with you, that is your audience and your client base, the person that is likely to bring you monetary value, if you focus on getting something that gets that person to engage with you, then you've won the game. You've won step one at least, because once you do that, there's then the possibility of virality. Because if that person resonates with it emotionally and is compelled to comment or to like or to share, that means that your content is naturally going to have wings of its own and fly away to the other realms of groups and people, because it is a quality content made for a certain type of audience.
100%. So
now, adding on to that, that means what this is basically saying is that we should never have general content. Alright? We should never have content that is just for the general public. I think now it is so counterproductive to have something with the mind frame of, everyone's gonna like it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Do you get?
Yeah.
And this is the benefit that the algorithm changes are having. Like it's almost like we didn't know that the reduced engagement is actually almost beneficial to brands developing themselves and actually realizing who they are.
Yeah.
So another point that I wanted to make is that, like, as a result of this, I now know more what is special about me and therefore what is special about my brand, Exkluse Media. Do you get? Whereas before, if everyone was just, it was chronological order and people just enjoy the content because it looks good, it wouldn't have encouraged such a thought and such focus.
Yeah, for you to step your game up.
Step my game up and to know. And now this is another thing. I had a conversation yesterday, and we was talking about why people believe in win-lose mentality. Yeah, why most people have a mentality where if they win, then they expect you to lose, or if you win, or anyway, or vice versa. So I was having a conversation with some buddies I met at a shisha cafe. They just asked me a few questions. They saw me editing. We just got into talking, and I was explaining to them the philosophy of win-win. So people that think win-win are people that have that think with mutually beneficial goals in mind, right? And most people don't believe in that mentality. So they call one the scarcity mentality, which is those that feel like there's not enough, there's a lack in the world, and then the win-win, they describe it as abundance mentality, as you know. So when you have that mentality, what it does, it forces you to think in ways where that person or anyone that you come into contact with is now an asset, no matter their opinion. You have forced that person to become an asset, a contribution, an addition, someone that has something to add on. You have forced that, and as a result of that, it opens your mind to then realizing what you have also to add on to others. Because if you don't have anything, or if you don't believe you have anything to add on to others, you won't believe that anybody can add on to you.
Right?
Generally speaking. So now, applying this logic, in a sense, to Instagram, when you want win-win, you then want for your brand it to show what it wins at, what it holds trophies up for. So an example may be your brand may be winning because it trophies veganism.
Okay.
Yeah. As a result of you believing that, just because you trophy that, it doesn't mean that somebody can trophy it and be a loser because you're doing it better. Yeah. It then encourages you to focus on really what is great about the way you view veganism. And now it's not I'm better than you. It's now, hold on, what?
Like I can win and you can win.
Yes.
I can be a sick vegan brand and you can be a sick vegan brand.
What's different about us?
Yeah.
Do you get me? So that mentality, I feel like I've been personally applying it to my brand and stuff and time on Instagram, and it's given me that security. In businesses, I find, I'm sure you can relate as well, that it's very easy to kind of like have this mentality where it's like, oh no, I can't show that brand stuff because my competitors may go there. Now this win-win mentality, it builds a security because you know why you're special as a brand.
Yeah, like you know what you bring to the table, so that you don't have to be scared about it.
Exactly, because if that person was to come to you and it wasn't actually the right person to come to you, if your values believe in having the right customers, then it's okay if they go somewhere else. Why? Because you are confident and secure in the fact that your business is a special business and it has something special to offer to the world. And through that belief, you're going to perforate it into the surroundings, into the atmosphere, and people will take it in, and the right clients will come to you.
Yeah.
So that is a benefit that I've been experiencing as a result of some of these algorithm changes.
Yeah, no, 100%, and it makes perfect sense because win-win in the terms of social media is exactly what Facebook's tried to put us on. When you think about it, it's like they only want us to see, and they are only pushing us to see interactions that they know are not valuable just from one side, but are valuable from both sides. And so if you're, it's like you will kind of see people that you keep up with all the time, but they don't watch you. So the big famous people, I've noticed that like it doesn't push them in my face as much as it does to just whoever I actually interact with. And so it makes much more sense, and it's been better for business because now I almost don't have the time to look at people that clearly it's not mutual. But it's not mutual.
Okay,
so
fair.
in the sense where I'm looking at a celebrity who literally isn't even aware that I as a person watch their stuff. It is kind of win-lose, if you like, in a sense, because it's like I don't gain anything.
Not really.
They've got their audienceship and whatever, but I don't gain anything from the interaction. Especially because social media, a lot of it is just watching. A lot of it isn't intentional businesses. It's just watching, making me feel jealous. All of that. And the thing is, remember, they know this. They know when we were all talking about, oh, I don't feel good when I'm on Instagram and I see all these other people and it makes me feel shit. They know that. And they want their platform to have a great user experience. That's how they grow, right? And so that doesn't help. And so where they've brought us back now, it's like, cool, now I'm only seeing the win-wins. So when that client is interested in me and I'm actually responding and giving value back to the client in the DMs, it's going to show us more. And now naturally, it works out better for me. That person's more likely to use my business. They're more likely to come to me for stuff. And it just keeps you top of mind, but just with the people you should be top of mind for. And I think it's great. Like it definitely has meant that you have to reevaluate how you see the numbers. If that was like my number one fan, someone that lives to just see what I do, how would I do it if it was just for them? They're the only opinion that matters. And I think if you follow that and always think that, you can never go wrong on social media.